this episode actually started off with the other takeover match that was supposed to happen at Tampa Bay, which was the 6 women #1 contenders ladder match between, okay, let's see if I can remember them, Chelsea Green, Io Shirai, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim.
She's bad now.
And
she kicks
Candice
someone in the dick.
LeRae.
There you go.
Almost forgot her, even though she's in the story at the end. Yeah, and this match was just absolutely ridiculous. It went like probably 15 minutes, and the spots just didn't stop the whole time. It was just constant. I tried keeping up with the spots in my notes, and I just couldn't. I was literally, it just went spot, 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 spot. It was awesome from a pure like action perspective. It was so fun. There was some really like creative spots as well. There was like a ladder set up in the corner, and Chelsea Green went for a kick. Her leg got caught in the ladder, and then I think it was Miriam just smashed her knee with a chair. I was like, oh, that's such a brilliant spot. Like, there was some really creative, cool stuff. It wasn't just like, here's a ladder, here's a chair with nothing thrown into it. There were some really creative, cool spots. You had Robert Stone and Raquel Gonzalez as well, helping out their respective people. Robert Stone trying to help Chelsea Green up the ladder and then getting pushed off, and Raquel Gonzalez giving Dakota Kai like a fireman's carry up it. Thought it was really, really fun. Yeah, it got to the end where it was Io Shirai and Candice were the final 2. And Io Shirai, I think, gouged her eye. I don't know, but kind of pushed her off the side onto Candice LeRae, and Candice LeRae fell onto this bridge ladder that was set up in the corner. It looked like a horrible bump to take off the ladder, back like bending. It was like a Homer Simpson over the fire hydrant. Her back bending over the ladder and going into the ring. It would look like a horrible spot to take. Just leaving Io Shirai at the top. She grabs the briefcase. And she gets the #1 contendership against Charlotte Flair. I thought this was awesome. I don't know what to think about Io versus Charlotte. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic match, and I'm really looking forward to that from just a match perspective, in the same way I was looking forward to Ripley versus Flair. Don't know if I want to see Shirai versus Flair, though. Like, in terms of characters, they just don't seem to match at all. I completely get the story with Ripley and Flair. I totally get the comparisons and the story they were telling. Don't know about Shirai and Flair yet. I'll wait. I'll withhold judgment and see if they build a great story off it. But what do you think of the match?
Well, first of all, I just want to compliment Maro for calling the whole thing by himself. And leaving very little room to breathe, because as we've seen over the WrestleMania weekend, one person like it was the Natalia Liv Morgan match, which had Tom Phillips doing it by himself. That was death. And don't get me wrong, this match is more exciting than that match, but also Maro is he has a lot of one-liners. He started with was it Good Morning Kitty Cats and Kittens from Tiger King. He's a very cute announcer, but he's very, very skilled at keeping this sense of a tempo and an intensity going, and that really helped the match. Also, the fact there was so many people in and around the ring, this is one of the few matches of the whole WrestleMania experience which took place in front of an empty crowd, was an actual empty crowd match. And I didn't actually feel the empty crowd much, if at all, because there's just so many people, there's so much noise that it masks it and it lets you kind of dive in, lets you kind of sit in the match and enjoy it. I thought it was really, really good. I love there's just loads of little stories, because that's NXT is really, really good at callbacks. It's really, really good at remembering its own history. I mean, all of this stuff is recent history, but it's all there. Like, you wouldn't put these people in the ring and not expect Io Shirai and Candice LeRae to come to a head. You wouldn't expect Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai to not be doing something big, and Tegan Nox almost got the final revenge, pushing Dakota Kai into a powerbomb through a table to the outside, pushing Raquel Gonzalez. So revenge for takeover for that. But then Dakota Kai once again sneaks in the back door, kicks her through a ladder. There's
great spot.
Really, really, really good. I love Robert Stone almost doing a James Ellsworth and getting canned for that. I thought that was really fun.
Big fan of the fact that he climbed the ladder and tried to get Chelsea to get the briefcase rather than just climbing it and getting it himself. There's the difference.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, exactly. I really, really dug it. Almost didn't notice that it didn't take place in front of a crowd. Obviously, if it had, I thought it would have been received amazingly. That's always going to be a shame, but I thought, this is going to be remembered very fondly. And to your point about Io versus Charlotte, so I've seen a lot of people very cross that Charlotte is NXT champion. I understand, but I am starting to get a little tired of it because I think I was really worried that Chelsea Green was going to win this match. Not because I think Chelsea Green is bad. It's just that she's not at the level where Charlotte waltzes into NXT and gets a hype match. Like, I wanted Charlotte to walk in and fight someone big because so many people are upset that Charlotte's NXT champion. But like the big argument to that is, no, she's going to have matches with all of these people. Like, I want to see Charlotte fight everyone in that ring. Chelsea Green the least, but still, like, after some time, build Chelsea Green up great. And now we've got Charlotte versus Io Shirai in an NXT landscape where character dynamic doesn't mean quite as much. It's more about the match quality. And so many people are grumpy about it being just like, Charlotte's just going to bury Io Shirai. It's just like, guys, come on. Like, you're going to see two of the best female wrestlers in the world fight in NXT. Like, we could, like, Io Shirai could have been called up to the main roster, and that's when we see her fight Charlotte, and it'll be nowhere near as good. But we're going to see Charlotte Flair versus Io Shirai, potentially with an NXT TakeOver quality match, and like, maybe Charlotte will win. This is one of those, like, please try and enjoy the journey sort of things. And like, character-wise, it's heel, but that's not really meant as much in NXT. I'm really excited to see Io Shirai finally teach Charlotte how to do a moonsault. I think it's going to be really
That would be great. Imagine if Charlotte pulls off a Shirai-style moonsault just to flex on her. Just be like, yeah, well, I can do it too.
I completely understand people get apprehensive because they have this thing about Charlotte, the main roster in general, and sort of protecting the sanctity of NXT. I don't know. Like, I think NXT is going to make Charlotte better, not Charlotte making NXT worse.
Yes,
Charlotte's already great, so yeah. What's the kind of what's the main reservation with the kind of the pairing for you, Pete?
I don't know. I would have thought that in the way that Charlotte won the title, beating NXT fan favorite Rhea Ripley, who just kind of conquered the big conqueror Shayna Baszler in order to get the title, and in order for Charlotte to beat her, I would have thought that it would have been the logical thing would have been someone like Candice LeRae. Obviously, she turned heel, so it doesn't quite count, but kind of big babyface character, like, I don't know, maybe like Mia Yim or something like that would work much better, because you would be like, hey, you've just come into NXT, you don't even go here, etc., and just say, why you shouldn't be holding the title, that belongs to us, piss off back to the main roster, essentially. I thought that would have been a much better story to tell as the first instance of Charlotte coming back. Then after that, explore the other options. But I thought initially that would be a good story to tell. That's
completely fair. Yeah. I that from a narrative perspective, that totally checks out. I mean, like, her versus Candice would have been a fantastic match.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah.
Almost quite difficult to watch because there's just a sheer amount of blonde in that match. Might have been looking at her like a magic eye picture. But I'm still pretty stoked. I don't know who else is like the top, because if Bianca's called up, which I get it. I think she works with the Street Profits. I really, really want to see her fight Charlotte though. Yeah. Because I think that's for me is like because that is to me, that's the person that beats Charlotte. Bianca Belair, because that story is already going. And I don't necessarily feel like it's ended properly for Bianca. And maybe they'll meet in the future in the main roster. Who knows? But like, I don't know. Now that Candice has turned, she was such a good babyface. Now that Candice has turned, I don't know who the big babyface is, unless you build up Tegan Nox, I guess.
Unless Ripley comes back, wins it back.
Yeah. Well, like,
I'm not as into that.
With NXT being like a full brand now, I guess you kind of, the way we look at the future is a little different. Like maybe the call up isn't the natural option anymore. But who knows? Like I still don't, especially in this climate, it's very difficult to actually work out who's called up, who's just in the area and therefore filling time, who's like the safe option to put in these situations. So in terms of call-ups, maybe it's too early to read into it. But yeah, I want Bianca to truck Charlotte. That's really what I want. But we'll see.
That would be fantastic.
Great match. Great win for Io Shirai. And yeah, I can't wait to see the match. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Thumbs up all round.